Welcome to the Mountaineer Football Tonight Coaches Show with Mountaineer head coach Greg Lloyd. Mountaineer Football Tonight is a presentation of KMHS Sports and the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club.
Welcome to Mountaineer Football Tonight once again here on Tuesday night this week due to the Halloween holiday. We'll have a great show for you tonight. We've got Coach Lloyd here in the Studio 1 here at Bates Fieldhouse on the campus of Kings Mountain High School, as well as we'll be joined later in the broadcast with the defensive coach, Daryl Wilson, and we got a great segment for you tonight with him as well. It's going to be a great show. We do want to remind you a couple things before we cut to break and show the highlights from the Mountaineers' conference championship clinching victory over Crest. As we're going to encourage you to like and subscribe and share any of these videos on the KMHS Sports channel. We appreciate all the viewership on the Friday night broadcast as well as Mountaineer Football Tonight. But if you've not subscribed yet, you need to. Somewhere click down below or up above or over. I don't know where it is on your YouTube channel, but you need to subscribe to the channel. As always, we are grateful for the sponsors here on Mountaineer Football Tonight, and the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club does a phenomenal job to support what goes on here at the high school athletic program and beyond. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back after the highlight video, we'll have head coach of the Mountaineers, Coach Lloyd, with us to review the win over Crest, as I'll also look ahead to the game this Friday against St. Stephen's. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the KMHS Sports and Kings Mountain Touchdown Club Halftime Show with your host, Jay Rhodes. The halftime show is sponsored by Ben Engel and On Q Financial, Butler Tire and Auto, Audio Video Designs, KM Elite, Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by HB Jones Appraisals, Long Branch Land and Water, John Gamble and Carolina Goff, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Brittany Austin with Hewitt Realty, Harris Funeral Home, Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, Long Branch Land and Water, John Gamble and Carolina Goff, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Brittany Austin with Hewitt Realty, Harris Funeral Home.
Live from Studio One, we're here with head coach Greg Lloyd. Coach Lloyd, welcome to the show once again.
Yeah, glad to be here, Jeff.
So it's always good. We can't say it's Victory Monday. We'll call it Victory Tuesday here in the studio. Mountaineer Football Tonight. Coach, let me just first off give a little bit of accolades. Congratulations on the Big South Championship.
Well, the kids played hard. We played well all year. I couldn't be happier with how far we've come. The players really worked hard, and they worked hard in the summer and the spring, and then our coaches have done such a great job of preparing them and getting them ready each week, and it's just been a special group, and I don't think it's a group that's ready to stop playing. So we're just going to give it our best shot from this point forward and see how we can do.
It's hard to believe about 11, 12 weeks ago in August, we met in this very room and we had our first show and talked about the season ahead. But congratulations, undefeated regular season by at least our statisticians. That's the best regular season since 1964. And congratulations on a phenomenal season and getting the first seed in the West.
Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment for our team. Really, like I said, just really proud. And, you know, we had a lot of tough games during the regular season here. I mean, we play the Big South's tough. It's always tough. And then our county games, you know, all those guys are really good. And Burns, Shelby, and Crest, and they all played us really hard. And but we rose to the occasion each Friday night. And, you know, from this point, you know, up to this point, we've got a perfect record. And we're going to do our very best to keep it going.
Well, Coach, we talked last week. We knew that going into last Friday's game, you know, obviously traveling on going on the road, it was going to be a dogfight. Crest was definitely a hot team coming off 3 big victories, and you guys went into their house. And let's break down the game a little bit. I thought, not sure you could draw up a better first quarter, jumping up to a 21-0 lead. So talk about that first quarter with the early turnovers, with Jaqueline Sanders with an incredible interception. You had Bryson Brown had an interception as well, and then the kickoff recovery. Talk about that fast start and really how it set the tone for the game.
Yeah, we couldn't ask for a better start. We took the opening drive down, chewed up, you know, 4 or 5 minutes off the clock, finished it off with a big score there. We had a nice run-pass ratio on that first drive, and the kids executed very well. And come out there in our second possession, we get a quick turnover there. Jaqueline made a fantastic interception. We had a really good plan there with Coach Wilson put in and our defensive guys. I mean, it was fabulous. We didn't want 6 to catch any balls, and we didn't let them catch any. They tried to get it out there early and in the flat, and of course Jaqueline made a big interception, and we turned that into a touchdown. And then Pooch kicked right after it. Jason Melton recovered it on the bounce, and then we took that one on in and scored. And, you know, first thing went over up 21-0. Gave us a nice cushion. And I give Crest credit. They didn't lay down. They played hard the remainder of the game, but I thought our players did too. We had a few mistakes here and there, but it's football, and I was pleased with how we performed, and, you know, just really proud.
Well, Coach, first drive, you mentioned the first drive, tune up some clock. You guys definitely opened it up with a passing game. Did you expect Crest to come out in the defensive formation they did? That seemed like to us they were really wanting to stop the run and gave you guys some good opportunities for Lamont to step in, the receivers, to really move down the field. Did they come out in really the way you thought they would?
Yeah, they sort of did. You know, they were very aggressive. You know, I think if you're going to play us, you got to, you know, try to stop the run, but we're more than capable of throwing the ball. And we had some big throws there early. Like I said, all year, Lamont's had a big year. He's been really accurate, completed 70% of his passes, so our odds of having a completion is pretty good. We've got some really good receivers to throw to. Like you said, Bryson and Jaqueline, Zorion. made some big plays Friday and turned that into some points. And, when we're able to run in and pass the ball, we're pretty hard to defend, and I think that's a good formula for success.
Coach, you were up 21-0. You stopped them, began to drive the ball, but then we had a punt that went over our head, gave them really the short field and gave them a quick score. I thought you guys responded really well after they scored, and of course the extra point was blocked, 21-6. You guys would end the half with 2 touchdowns to go into the half, 35-6. I thought that was just a great response by the team.
Yeah, it was. But I tell you, after they scored 21-6, made it 21-6, they stopped us the next time, and our defense went out and got us the ball right back. And then at that point, we put a touchdown together, and we got the ball back again. Our D stopped them, and we put it in the end zone. Squella made a great catch in the end zone up over somebody, and got us another touchdown. So it was key, and then it put us up 35-6 in half and gave us a nice 4-touchdown cushion.
So, Coach, two-part question to kind of wrap up our time talking about the victory over Crest. Number one, what was your message to the team at halftime with such a big lead? And then talk about that. How hard is it to kind of close out a game, knowing a good Crest team is going to come back? You want to milk the clock. How challenging is that really to have that lead? A good problem, but share about that.
Yeah, so halftime we tried to stress to play the game like it was 0-0, and I thought we did. I thought we played really well in the third quarter. We moved the ball. We got a stop. Defense stopped them. We got the ball. We chewed out a ton of the third quarter. We got down there. We had an unfortunate turnover, and that kind of turned the game. I mean, the kids were playing hard, and we were doing what we wanted to do. But you get a turnover sometimes, and it turns the mo a little bit, and it did. They scored quick, and then they stopped us, and they scored quick again, and they were kind of back in the game. But at that point, our guys answered. They didn't panic. They've been in this situation before. We made some big runs, big catches, had several big stops on defense, sacked the quarterback a couple times, and finished the game off, And we didn't score in the second half, but like I said, that one drive, we drove it to the 10 and fumbled, and then we drove it down to the 10 to end the game, and we took a knee. So it wasn't like we didn't move the ball in the second half, and it wasn't like we didn't play hard. We just made a couple mistakes and kept them around, but we'll learn from them, and that was a big win.
Yeah, congratulations on the win. I thought towards the end when Crest got the ball back, down 15. And the defense came up on that, 3rd and 12 maybe, and turned it into 3rd and 20,
Sure.
4th and 20. Kind of forced their coaching staff to decide to punt the ball,
Yes.
which really surprised us on the broadcast. But I think that huge sack really forced them to kind of rely on their defense. And then you guys really never gave the ball back. So
Yeah, you're right. So once Coach, we got them stopped, put them in a 4th and 20. I didn't think it was the worst decision because they had their timeouts, and they had stopped us a couple of times, and they put us back at the 10, had us 3rd and 11, I believe. So I think it turned out maybe to be the right decision, except for Lamont came through, made a great throw, and to Jaqueline, got us out of the hole, and then we just chewed the rest of the game away. And then, like I said, with that drive that started at the 10, ended at the 10, and then we needed out, and that was the game. So a lot of kids made a lot of big plays. Really proud of our players and our coaches. It was a big night, and proud of our team's the Big South champ.
Well, congratulations. Mountaineers leave Crest with a 35-20 win. Coaches, we close the book on the regular season, close the book on the Crest game, look ahead at the playoffs. Let's first talk about the players of the game before we do that. So who are your players of the game? Who's your player of the game on offense?
Okay, I'm going to go with Jaqueline Sanders, our player of the game, our Patriot Jacks player of the game on offense. He had 5 catches, over 100 yards, had a touchdown. He also contributed on defense with an interception, but he really made some hay out there at wide receiver and did a great job. So Jaqueline Sanders, our offensive player of the game.
All right, how about defense?
Jason Melton's our defensive player of the game. I had to double check. We had a couple of good guys that played, but Jason Melton's going to be our Patriot Jacks defensive player of the game. Did an excellent job in there at linebacker. I know we had one huge 4th down stop on the quarterback that stopped the drive, and really proud of Jason and proud of the way he played.
Congratulations to him. How about special teams?
Special teams player of the game, we're going to give it to Jaden Ellis. He had a big night. He's 5 for 5 on his PATs. He came through on a nice squib kick to pin them back deep when we were kicking from our own 20. So Jaden Ellis, our special teams player of the game.
Yeah, and I'll have to ask him how he put a little backspin on that pooch kick as well.
Oh, that was a big one too.
Crest player thought he was going to bounce right to him, and it came right to us.
No doubt.
Congratulations on each of these young men being players of the game this week. Phenomenal job by those young men as well as the rest of the team. Coach, great job on the regular season. When we come back, Coach, we're going to talk, turn the page a little bit. We're going to go talk about this Friday night. We got a phone answer in the studio here. When we come back after the sponsor break, we're going to talk about Friday's game against St. Stephen's.
Sounds good.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, Long Branch Land and Water, John Gamble and Carolina Goff, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Brittany Austin with Hewitt Realty, Harris Funeral Home,
Mountaineer Football Tonight, once again here with head coach of the Mountaineers, Coach Lloyd. Coach Lloyd, let's talk playoffs. As you told the players after the game, it's win or go home. So every game matters, but every game matters in the scope of the season. Friday night, St. Stephen's. Let's first talk about home field. One of the advantages of getting the 1 seed is really the teams that could come out of the West have got to come through Kings Mountain. How much of an advantage is that for us and for you as a team?
Yeah, I think that's a big advantage. We played really well here at home. I think we played great defense on the turf, really. I think we've looked fast and we've looked physical out here in these home games. And offensively, I think we've moved the ball pretty well here at home. And I think we played well here. We've had some great crowds. I think we've got a big advantage here at John Gamble Stadium, and we're tickled to be here.
Well, I'm excited that as long as this playoff runs until the finals, we'll see how that plays out, that we have a chance, our home crowd, to see you guys play here. Well, let's talk about our opponent coming in this Friday night. The game's at 7:30. I believe you can get tickets at the gate are $8. And then there's more information we'll put out on Facebook as well from Matt Bridges. Talk about St. Stephen's. St. Stephen's coming in with a 4-6 record. I believe they were kind of middle of their conference, 51, 3-5 conference record. What's the outlook that you share for Mountaineer fans? What to expect from a St. Stephen's team coming in here Friday night?
Well, they've got a very veteran team. I think they have 18 starting seniors, which is a concern. You got a bunch of players that, don't want to play their last game, so they're going to come in here very motivated. I don't think they've been in the postseason in a while, so they're going to be excited to play. We tell our players last year, I think we might got caught looking ahead a little bit, and we just about went home in the first round against Franklin. I think Franklin and St. Stephen's are very comparable teams, and we're going to have to show up and play because nobody wants their season to end, and the team that's going to make the least mistakes and plays the most physical will be the team that wins.
Coach, talk about St. Stephen's. Obviously, sure you've had the chance to look at some film on offense or the defensive schemes. What are the things you can share with us about your preparation and what the team expects to see against St. Stephen's?
Well, their offense is they operate pretty much out of the shotgun for the most part. They run a lot of buck sweep, a lot of traps. The quarterback's a really good athlete. They got a really good running back. He's a sophomore, number 22. He'll get the chunk of their carries. He's really quick. I was very impressed with him in the videos we had of him. So, he's explosive. You give him a lane, give him some room, he's liable to take it to the end zone. So we've got to do a nice job of corralling him and putting him on the ground and playing good team D like we always do. So we got to be wary of him. And on defense, they're multiple. They mix up their coverages a little bit. They run a 4-man front, a 5-man front, and a 6-man front, depending on what your formation is. So we've got to be ready to adapt, ready to get into some good plays that hopefully will work against them. And the O-line's got to continue to block well and run the ball hard, and Lamont lead our offense. So, it's just you just got to keep doing what we've been doing, just try to do it a little bit better. And our special teams, same thing. They kick the ball in different spots on their kickoff team. did a good job of punting, and I mean they did a decent job of the return game. I think they're a little better team than their record, and we, like I said, we just can't overlook anybody. We got to treat each game like it's do or die, which it is. So if you don't win, you don't get to play anymore. So we got to come out focused and ready to roll.
Well, Coach, we look ahead to St. Stephen's this Friday night at 7:30. As always, Mountaineer fan, we encourage you guys to come out, get here early, buy some food from the concession stand, and be ready to be loud. It means so much to the team, the coaches, this Friday night, 7:30. If for some reason you're traveling or not able to be at the game, we will have the broadcast on this very YouTube channel, KMHS Sports. You can see us there. Drew Fulton, Lamont Littlejohn, Craig Short, myself will be broadcasting on YouTube as well. And I believe pregame will start an hour before kickoff at 6:30, and we'll preview that game. Coach, thank you for being with us. I know you've got some places you got to get in just a few minutes. After the sponsor break, we'll be joined by your defensive guru, your defensive leader, head coach, Darrell Wilson will be with us.
As good as it gets. He's as good as it gets, and I'm glad everybody gets to see him tonight.
He's here, already been with us in the studio. We look forward to being. But, Coach, thank you for being with us. And
I told my wife I would
take off the hat.
No, I would wear it a little higher so you can see.
Okay.
You see my eyes.
We see your eyes a little better.
Miss Beth was getting on me a little.
We've got this great lighting in the studio, Coach, so you want to show those eyes.
Very nice.
Very good, Coach. As always, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you on the sideline Friday night.
Okay, see you then.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, Long Branch Land and Water, John Gamble and Carolina Goff, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Brittany Austin with Hewitt Realty, Harris Funeral Home.
Mountaineer Football Tonight, Jeff Johnson here with the defensive coach, head of the defense. I called him the defensive guru, Coach Darrell Wilson. Coach, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, Jeff.
This isn't your first time.
Listen,
you should be a veteran at this point.
Nah, it's not.
First time. What do you think of Studio One here? What do you think?
You got a nice setup here. Very nice. I'm very impressed. I like it.
Well, Drew and I believe his wife Sarah, they've done a great job in the off season for next year. We're hoping to get some sound absorbing panels, which will make the sound even better. We're excited. Coach, let's talk defense. First off, congratulations on a successful season. And really, we'll just say this, success on the defensive side of the ball.
Thank you very much.
I think every Mountaineer fan and myself, I tell people that I get one of the best views that anyone. I'm there on the sideline. I can not only smell your players, but I can see them. I can hear the hits. I love being there on the field. And I just think defensively, there's no doubt, I agree. As much as I love offense, defense wins championships.
You're right.
And as far as we go, I'm not casting any shade. We've got a phenomenal offensive team. Not casting any shade on Coach Cruz or Coach Lloyd on the offensive side of the ball or Lamont Littlejohn or any of the other players. But listen, the defense, outstanding. And we're gonna want to ride that horse all the way.
We're going to try.
Okay, Coach, let's talk about defense. Introduce, if you would. Obviously, we can't bring your entire defensive staff, but I know that you are not alone coaching these young men up throughout the week, throughout the season, the off season. Share who are the defensive coaches that help you on that side of the ball.
Okay, starting with the defensive line, Coach Kennedy. His assistant is Coach Cole. Coach Kennedy's probably the emotional guy on the defensive side. He gets them fired up. He's the energy guy. Linebackers, you got Coach Williams. He's helped me out for a while. Been knowing him for a long time. Secondary, you got Coach Brown. He does a great job with them, and Coach Clonaker helps him out. And then my special assistant defensive coordinator is Matt Bridges. So Matt's my guy that talks to me on Friday nights. He's up top giving me feedback, and we do a great job together. So I'm very excited. I think I got one of the best groups, defensive staffs in the state, and we work well together.
Well, no doubt. I'm sure Matt Bridges appreciated that shout out on the show. We'll see. We'll see if he gives you a compliment if he even watches the show this week. I know he's always running around crazy. He's definitely busy. Well, no doubt, Coach, I know that you're surrounded by good coaches, but I know under your leadership, what we've seen, especially the last couple seasons, our teams just show up prepared. And I love the adjustments you make because no doubt the teams will come in. Sometimes they'll throw you some curveballs, and you definitely adjust on the fly. Let's talk a little bit about defense. No doubt in your preparation, the advantages of huddle and film study. I think Coach Harris and I talked about but way back when coaches had actual film, you know, throwing the. But now you've got huddle where you can see game films really in real time, and you can see them pretty quickly after a game. Not have to show. Be honest, who watches more film, you or Coach Cruz?
I'll probably watch more film than Coach Cruz. I watch it all the way up to game time almost sometimes, especially just in case I haven't seen something. I always look back and I always find something different that I didn't see before. So I try to pride myself of knowing everything. Sometimes I probably overstudy or overlook at film, but, you know, I liked it. That's just me. So
follow-up question with that is, when you do film study, are you going back and looking at all the games, the most recent games you focus on? How does that work with your choice of which games? And obviously, you can't watch every snap of every game. Maybe you do.
I do.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you heard it here. You watch it every snap of every game of his opponents each week.
Well, usually I start with the prior year. I always go back and watch that game and kind of get a feel how they try to attack me. What was my weaknesses and my strengths in that game? How did they? What new plays did they do before that they didn't show before? But I try to start with that, and then I look at the last game that they played. What new plays did they implement? How did they try to attack that defense? And then I go back and look at several years past of plays, and I usually try to take one or two of those plays that they hit us on and try to put it in there, even though they haven't shown it this year. But I always try to prepare for unexpected stuff. And my system that I have, we kind of pretty much a number game anyway. So, you know, I feel we'll be prepared regardless of what they do because of our number game. So that's what I kind of do.
Well, so love time in the film room.
I love it.
That's good. Well, it definitely shows in your preparation for leading the players and your other coaches. So I've known Coach Lloyd for a long time. When I was away a couple weeks ago, I did not realize that Coach Cruz had a special name for Coach Lloyd, that he calls him George sometimes on the sideline. Inquiring minds want to know, Coach, do you have a special name for Coach Lloyd that sometimes, or is it just Coach?
It's just Coach. Cruz been with Coach Lloyd since day one, so he have a lot more stories than I do. I've been with him since 2015. It's been a great ride with him, and I hope it continues. But he's, I call him the master of offensive wizard, because once he get the call and he's going cat, he does a great job at that. He get in his zone, and I'll be like, yes, he's on his A game tonight. So it's, I'll try to match that intensity on the defensive side, and we make a good combination right now.
Well, off script a little bit, how does that sharpen you? Spending time picking his brain from an offensive perspective, that's got to help you as a defensive coach.
Yeah, we have conversations in the hallway and in the conference room. We talk about, what things he look for, what do I do on certain formations to kind of attack teams. So we bounce ideas off each other and kind of get what's best for our players that help our scheme. So it's a great job. It's fun. We go at it a couple times, and they got a great offensive staff over there now, and it's just kind of fun when we try to go at each other sometimes, especially dealing with Cruz up front. So with the D line and O line.
No doubt. A little competition, friendly competition among the coaches.
Yes.
Coach, talk about when you're in game time and when you are watching your defense on the field. I got to know for you, what gets you more excited? when you see, now we've got a great defensive front with this team, and we've put a lot of pressure. What gets you more excited? And we also have a great secondary, ball hawks, I like to say, with Zay back there and Bryson back there and Jake back there and others. What gets you more excited? A tackle for loss, pressure of the QB, or perhaps a great play in the secondary?
It's kind of funny you asked me that, because I told my defense the other day is I'm most excited when I see a play develop the way I imagine it when I call the defense. So when the D-line get the perfect pressure, the DB's in the perfect alignment, getting the ball, if it's an interception or if it's a sack, I really just overwhelmed by how they ran my scheme perfect to that formation. So I'm really happy for both, because I love seeing those guys jump up and down and get excited, especially on interceptions, on sacks, quarterback pressures, all of it. I'm just excited for all of them. They're having a great time playing together. They fit well and they communicate well as a group. And I'm just excited to be their defensive coordinator, man, because it's wonderful.
Good answer, good answer. You kind of like the old show, The A-Team. You love it when a plan comes together. When you scheme it just right, it's got to be so satisfying as a coach. Well, we've got really a two-part question, and I appreciate you being on the show, no doubt. Two-part questions. Number one is, how have you taken advantage? You only have a couple seniors, really, as far as in the starters on defense. How have you taken advantage of their senior leadership? I believe it's AJ and Jake, as well as developed using them, but also coached up some of the younger players that have had the opportunity to step in and really develop as the season has gone on, building off of last year into the season. So talk about your senior leaders, but also the young talent that has developed on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, like you said, Jake Lloyd and AJ Richardson, they are my seniors. The only two just not returning back from this defense this year. They both, Jake in the secondary, he talks a lot. He knows every position. He's my maintenance guy. I can put him at linebacker if I need to, anywhere on the secondary. AJ's my talker, my leader, my vocal leader, and I try to get him to be quiet a little bit this year to get other people to start talking. So he's done a great job of that. He motivates everybody. He understands what I'm looking for. He's an extension of me on the field, and we, I try to get him stumbled sometimes when we talk. So just to mess with him, say, all right, you think you're good, but you ain't great like me yet. But we joke and laugh about that. I constantly try to put them in pressure situations on the board when we're in our meeting rooms, try to get them to understand and think. So once they, get the younger guys, put a little pressure on them, in the meeting room, and I ask them questions, they need to pop the answer out quick. And if they don't, I get on them a little bit, because if you know something, you're going to be confident with it, and you're going to say it. So that's why I try to get my younger guys, and that comes with experience. And again, a lot of these guys got experience because of playing last year, and I got some newer guys that's getting in that role, and like UNash didn't play linebacker last year. He's playing it this year, so he's learning a new position on the fly. So he's done a great job of that, and there's some things he still got to get better at, but, overall I'm proud of that. Jason Melton's another guy that came in the system, learned the system. But I try to challenge all of them in some way, in some capacity, so they can understand the overall defense and how to fit as an overall, and not just just knowing their position. So it makes us better. But it's going to be exciting. I got a lot of them just stepping up. Curtis Simpson's doing a great job being more vocal. Jock Curry's doing a better guy, a vocal guy as well. So I got new guys that's going to be an extension of me next year as well. So I'm excited.
Well, Coach, we're not ready to close this season out, and you want to ride those seniors as long as we can. Yeah. And we're hoping for a deep playoff run. We're hoping really to take it all the way to the end, no doubt. Last follow-up, your defense is going to be good next year too. No doubt. We're not ready to finish this season, but you can see the makings of a phenomenal defense next year as well.
Well, I hope so. We got a lot of, like I said, we actually going to have 11 starters coming back. We got guys that probably done started games beside, without AJ and Jake, but we should be better. And I got some younger guys on JV that's going to come up and help us out. So team speed-wise, we probably be better next year. overall. I'm not saying AJ is slow, but I'm just saying we'll have better speed overall.
Didn't hear it here.
Messing with AJ.
No.
I'm messing with you, AJ.
He's going to be like, Coach, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Great guy.
Coach Wilson, thank you for being on Mountaineer Football Tonight. I know that our Mountaineer fans have heard Coach Lloyd this season. We've had Coach Harrison as well. In the coming weeks, we hope to have Coach Cruz. But
Coach Cruz, the man.
We're glad to have you in the studio and with us, really talking about the defensive side of the ball. And from us, and the broadcast team and on Mountaineer Football Tonight, you do a great job with the defensive side of the ball. And I've seen you coach also in the basketball when your daughter was playing. And I know you're just a smooth operator, but you do a great job coaching up. And as we've talked with Coach Lloyd, it's so much more than X's and O's.
Yeah.
You're pouring into young people who are in the process of growing up and turning into adulthood. So thank you for pouring into the young people. And I know that it's hard to coach.
Yes.
It's hard to lead, but it's very rewarding
Yes.
as time goes by. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, that's it for this segment on Mountaineer Football Tonight. We're going to come back and have just a brief ending to this tonight's show, and we're so glad that you're here with us. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, Long Branch Land and Water, John Gamble and Carolina Goff, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Brittany Austin with Hewitt Realty, Harris Funeral Home,
Well, we're going to wrap it up here on Mountaineer Football Tonight, November 1st. Hard to believe it's November. Fall is in the air. It's that time when we're headed into playoff football. It's going to be a great atmosphere this Friday night. We have a few people want to thank. Definitely want to thank the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club, David and Marie Brinkley. If you are not a member, I joined this year. If you're not a member of the Touchdown Club, you need to go to kmtouchdownclub.com. And you can make various donations to be part of the team. You need to join the Touchdown Club. All of the proceeds for the Touchdown Club go to benefit not only the sports program at Kings Mountain High School, but definitely beyond the community at Kings Mountain High School. So go and join the Kings Mountain Touchdown Club. We definitely want to take the opportunities you've seen throughout this show to thank not only Patriot Jacks for the Players of the Game sponsorship, but the other sponsors that you've seen on the screen. Thank you to our sponsors for donating your support to the Kings Mountain Athletic Program here at Kings Mountain High School. Once again, I encourage you to like, to share, subscribe to the channel, like this video, like the broadcast. I mean, it's amazing. You can go back this season, the Friday night broadcast. We're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of views. Thank you for your viewership. Thank you for tuning in. We encourage you to go to our sponsors and to definitely support our sponsors here in our local community. But also, you need to subscribe to our channel and share the videos. That helps continue to get the word out about what's going on here at Kings Mountain High School. I do want to take a special, brief moment. We'll see if she's still watching the show. To shout out to our super fan. I call her the super fan. Anna Grace Hughes was the only one on Facebook this week, was wondering where our show was last night. Anna Grace, thank you for being the super fan on the show. We give you a little love here on Mountaineer Football Tonight. Well, that's it for the show. We look forward to seeing you on Friday night, 7:30. Kings Mountain's the number 1 seed in the West, taking on St. Stephen's, who's the number 32 seed. And we look forward to seeing our Mountaineers take the field and take the field against St. Stephen's this Friday night. Fill the stands here this Friday night at 7:30. If you are unable, you need to join us on the broadcast starting at 6:30 for pregame, 7:30 for kickoff. We had a great show with Coach Lloyd and Coach Wilson. Thank you to Drew Fulton pushing all the buttons behind the scene. And grateful for you watching Mountaineer Football Tonight. It's been a good show. We'll see you Friday.
Mountaineer Football Tonight is sponsored by H.B. Jones Appraisals, Long Branch Land and Water, John Gamble and Carolina Goff, the Kings Mountain Family YMCA, Brittany Austin with Hewitt Realty, Harris Funeral Home,